Hey guys, it's time to get started with Bollocks this evening. We have a very special guest. We have Cindy Stavely. She runs the entire world. We were trying to go over a brief little bio, and I ran out of room on my desk with all the stuff that she's got going on. Yep. But been one of our great sponsors here in Bollocks since we've been started the show. So it's always great to have her in. Lenny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just skippy.
Lenny, will you tell people about how amazing your weekend was as I go and grab all the reads that I should have grabbed before the show, and I was distracted?
My weekend was absolutely amazing. We were down.
Stay focused on him, Blake. Stay focused on him.
Laurel, right? Nobody wants to see a sausage get made. Yeah. Down in Laurel, Maryland, at the Meriwether Post Pavilion.
Oh,
which is someplace
in Maryland.
Yeah, it was someplace that I've been wanting to go for a long time. It's sort of like Alpine Valley or Saratoga SPAC. Great campus. A big amphitheater that probably holds about 10,000 people, and then a secondary stage that's just out on a grassy hill. So you've got covered seating and lawn seating, but there was an event called the All Good Now Festival, and it was a jam band festival, and there were about, 20 bands played, and we went to 10 of them, and over the course of 2 days went to 5 bands on Saturday, 5 bands on Sunday. Thank you. Oh, how perfect. And it was just wonderful. A couple bands I had never heard before. A band that I've been looking forward to hear called Pigeons Playing Ping Pong. Did you know pigeons play ping pong?
I'm not surprised.
Pigeons Playing Ping Pong.
How do they hold the paddles?
In their beak.
Oh, okay.
In their beak.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a band out of Baltimore, and they're just delightful. You know, it's a very round, full sound, very upbeat. the lead singer and leader of the band is somebody named Scrambled Greggs.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Scrambled Greg. Okay, that worked.
Yeah. You know what a pigeon says when it's time for him to pay his tab?
He's got to fly.
Put it on my bill. Oh, I don't know if they have a bill, but what it is.
Right, yeah.
Hey, guess what?
You found him?
We're ready.
Okay, hook it up.
We're so ready.
I only get one?
I only get one. I have 2.
Okay.
You get 1.
All right, works for me.
Unless you want 2.
I'll take 2, but I've got the very important one today.
You got the most important one.
Absolutely.
You got the most important one. Not that this one's not important, because we are in Beaux-Arts Ford Studios. Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine. Their goal is to make sure your time and experience buying a car is stress-free, fun, and enjoyable. Matter of fact, that's who I was texting with when I wasn't getting this. Beaux-Arts is a family-owned Ford dealership that has been in business since 1949. Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln has been a recipient of numerous dealer awards, including being ranked #1 automotive dealership in the nation by Dealer Rater. Beaux-Arts Ford also has won back-to-back President's Awards, which is the highest honor given by Ford Motor Company. Check them out today online at beaux-artsford.com. All right, this is the one everyone needs to pay attention to.
All right.
No pressure. You're in front. You're in front of the boss. All right, here we go.
I'm solid.
All right.
Set sail for adventure at the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, home to the world's largest collection and most authentic collection of pirate artifacts. Explore over 800 relics across 40 immersive exhibits, including Thomas Tew's original pirate chest, Blackbeard's blunderbuss, and gold from the Queen Anne's Revenge. You'll even see one of the only 3 authentic Jolly Roger flags left in the world. Curated by Pat Croce and the Croce family, it's a journey through real pirate history, right in downtown St. Augustine at 12 South Castillo Drive. Come experience the golden age of piracy. It's right across the fort. So
we're going to hear a lot about them today.
Yeah, so be careful of them cannons.
All right, and you know what you got to have when you're in business? You got to have insurance. And I'm talking about Brightway Insurance opening their doors in 2008. Brightway Insurance, the Casey agency, has proudly stood by their customers through hurricanes, major floods, hail, and fires. Through these events... Don't do that. That'll get us canceled.
No. That's straight up and wave.
Okay, don't get us.
Farewell and farewell.
Okay, he wasn't on camera when he did that, was he?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, Elon.
No, we're good.
All right.
Left my chainsaw in the car. Leave me alone.
Through these events, the agency has become a much-needed insurance resource in times of trouble and hardship. Honesty and integrity are the pillars of our core values, says owner Ashley Casey. We pride ourselves on being insurance experts while developing strategies that help our clients meet their insurance needs. We truly enjoy the relationships that we've forged and the office as much as we love St. Augustine, which inspires all of us to be our best. I talked to Ashley today, just a wonderful guy. He's also been one of our big sponsors for a long time. Just appreciate everything he does for the entire community. And the other sponsors we have to mention.
I think we should.
All right. We got to mention Solar Stick, Bear Kresge and Associates, the Saint, Powell Heating and Air, Bozard Ford, of course, Meehan's, A.D. Davis Construction, Land Title America, Kaiser's, A to Z Waterproofing, Anastasia Diner, Moultrie Creek Diner, owned by Andy, amazing Andy, Mr. Electric, St. Augustine, and just such a wonderful group of people right there. So
I think it's time for a pastrami sandwich, by the way.
It might be time for that. All right, we do have in one of our great sponsors, but she does much more than just the Pirate Museum. Cindy, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome. It's great to be here, as always.
Cindy, I'm going to run down the small little list of items that you're responsible for.
Well, partially.
So you have the St. Augustine Pirate Museum, Colonial Oak, Lake Yoka in there. Was that a sneeze?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, okay, bless you. Colonial Experience, Bull and Crown, St. Augustine Seafood Company, and the Taberna Bar.
Right.
So a lot of places with a lot of different things.
Now, there are people that run the rest. I don't do all food and beverage, and I don't book bands and all of that. My official title is executive director, but that means mostly that I sign a lot of checks and pay a lot of bills and support the people that run the restaurants. My main focus as a supervisor and administrator is running the two museums, the Pirate Museum and the Colonial Experience Living History Tour. And we've got great food and beverage managers that run the restaurants, and I'm just there to support them and do some of their administrative stuff. So I don't certainly run the restaurants and the museums and the Colonial Oak Music Park every single day, hands-on, but I'm there for them.
But that's probably what a great boss would say.
Right.
That's a great boss answer, because you have to be a part of that team and kind of help all the other team members get along in a lot of ways. As you're walking in, one of the toughest things that I found when I was Parks and Recreation director is the managing of the people. And you have a lot of people that you have to. I don't want to say mother, but I mean you have to.
Oh yeah, I definitely mother them.
You have to show compassion. You have to be firm. You, in a lot of ways, being a boss is you're not really a parent, but a lot of the roles are similar.
I feel like the mom of the group, to be perfectly honest, and I enjoy that role. I like taking care of everybody there and making sure everybody's happy with their jobs, and I think it shows. I mean, we have a lot of longevity with our employees. Most of the people that are at the Pirate Museum started with me there 15 years ago, or close to it, and it's a great job. I mean, goodness sakes, you just all you're doing is feeding people great food and providing these great experiences to people that are on vacations. And like I tell our crew members, it's like, we're so lucky to be able to share these experiences with people, because we don't even know when the last time they took a vacation. This might be the first vacation that they've ever had. Maybe they've been saving up for 10 years to come on a family vacation. We don't know that. So all we like to do is provide this great memorable experience, whether it be doing the Living History Tour at the Colonial Quarter, at the Colonial Experience Living History Tour, and firing cannons and doing blacksmithing and sharing the great history of St. Augustine, or sharing that great collection that we have at the Pirate Museum. So it's a wonderful job, and that's why I'm going on 68 years old and have no plans to retire anytime soon.
Excellent. And, and don't limit it to tourists. I'm in there at least in the Pirate Museum at least twice a year. And when we have friends in town, it's a stop. If we haven't taken them there yet, we take them there, because it's something for everybody, older, younger, doesn't matter how old you are. And it's fascinating. And
we love having the locals come, and we do offer a great locals discount. Plus, if people want to enjoy both museums, we do a really discounted combo for both, especially for residents. They get a really good discount for the combo ticket for both. And the Colonial Oak, that's free for people to come and listen to music. And I think we do have a lot of local support coming to listen to music at the Colonial Oak. So I'm super proud of that program. And Kevin Molesky, who books all of our music there, he does an amazing job and brings in, great talent,
Really
great
talented.
bands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the wonderful things that we do with Sing Out Loud and the Songwriter Festival and other events like that as well. Plus, we do weddings and things like that there too.
Yeah.
And
I think
Fundraisers, local fundraisers, we do a lot of those there, like we did for the Sheriff's Department that you guys supported, which was greatly appreciated.
yeah. No, and I think one of the things I know the least about is the Colonial experience. I've eaten at the restaurants. And, we talk about the Pirate Museum a lot. We both are,
Yeah,
Pirate
big fans.
Museum kind of junkies. And the Colonial Oak, it's created its own name.
Exactly.
But talk to me a little bit about the Colonial experience and who's the group? Is there a particular group that you target, or what is that all about?
Well, of course, we target anybody that wants to hear about the history of St. Augustine, but I've been working in attractions and in the tourism industry in St. Augustine going on 30 years now, and I've seen the demographic of our visitors changing from back when the sidewalks would roll up at 5 o'clock and people didn't have the restaurants that we have now. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the water sports, the eco tours, and it was basically just history. And that was about it, walking around and going to the fort, going to the Fountain of Youth, going to what used to be the Colonial Spanish Quarter, which is now the Colonial Quarter. So, and there weren't as many people that came. So now the crowds of people that are coming, a lot of them aren't coming there for the history. They enjoy the architecture. They enjoy walking around. They might hear a little bit of the history, but they're enjoying the fine dining and the music and the other activities that our city offers now. And more late night activities as well, evening and nighttime activities. But it's a hard sell. I'm going to be perfectly honest, to get people to go in and hear a really wonderful hands-on history tour about the history of St. Augustine with some of the best guides in St. Augustine. It's like, history. Is it outside? Yes, it's outside. It's all under the shade. It's a little bit too hot. Maybe we don't have time. But once people go on that tour, they come back and they say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for encouraging us to do the Colonial experience, because it was one of the best tours that we've ever done anywhere." And people that have been to other countries and Williamsburg, because it's not long. It's very interactive with one guide takes you through and does all the demonstrations. So you develop a little relationship with the guides, and some play music, some have their little shticks that they do. It's not like a scripted canned tour. Everybody puts their own take on it, their own personality on it. And they get to see a live blacksmithing demonstration. They get to hear about, all the history of St. Augustine, but the civilian side of it, because maybe they were at the fort, they hear the military side. They come over and they hear the civilian side of it and the little vignettes of what family life and village life would have been like in St. Augustine during colonial times. So the people that do it absolutely love it. But then we also really target those fourth graders that come to St. Augustine. Mm-hmm. That's a huge part of our business for that, because it's perfect for that. It's right there at the downtown. They can go to the fort. They can come to the Colonial Quarter and then walk right next door and do the Pirate Museum, or they can go and do the oldest wooden schoolhouse, or, some of the other tours that are in town, the new treasure chest experience that's on Spanish Street that the kids really enjoy. So, fourth graders and field trips are a big focus for the Colonial experience, and the teachers and the kids just love that too, because again, our tour guides are so amazing.
All right, and you say your tour guides kind of put their own spin on it. So if I go there and I get Chad one week and then I get Aaron the next week, I might get a totally different experience. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yes, you will.
I didn't realize that.
You're going to get a lot of the same information, but it's going to be delivered in their style, mm-hmm. and their little vignette stories that they like to tell or whatever. But mm-hmm. you're still going to get authentic history. We're not going to be like some other tour guides in town that just kind of make things up to make it a little bit more interesting. Mm-hmm. It's going to be true, accurate history. The basic script of the tour that we do was vetted by the scholars at University of Florida, because the Colonial Quarter, we are in a public-private partnership with the University of Florida. and they want to make sure that we're telling the right history, and of course we are. So
I still have a problem with the story that Ponce de Leon was 4'11". When they exhumed his body, he wasn't 4'11". He was 5'7" or 5'8".
yeah,
and because the statue's 4'11", I hear it almost every time because I'm right there on Cathedral Place, and I'm like, oh, stop saying that.
I know.
But I mean that's part of St. Augustine too. Is like,
there's
sometimes
some lore and legends that go along with the authentic history.
It's been handed down so long. I believe people genuinely believe it to be true.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of locals that at least it's not on the tour guide test.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, thank goodness it's not on there.
Hey, it's all in the delivery. Speaking from personal experience, it's all in the delivery.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and you did some tours.
Yeah, and
I
the
did,
delivery is key to make a tour or an experience compelling and fun, and great for all ages. So you're going to entertain the grandkids and the grandparents and everybody in between. If you've got a dynamic tour guide that knows the authentic history but has great delivery.
Yeah. So.
Well, I did ghost tours, so we'll.
Oh, okay.
We'll,
I used to run a ghost tour company here in town.
Yeah, so we'll
years ago.
Gloss over the authentic nature of it all.
You can with a ghost tour, you can kind of stretch it a little bit.
It's all urban anyway. It's all kind of legend. Anyway,
I will tell you,
it's okay.
I did it for 4 years, and in the course of those 4 years, I got stories that nobody else got from the people that worked in the bars and restaurants because it was a pub crawl.
Right.
Which made a lot of fun. So I got firsthand stories from the people that owned or were in the bars and restaurants, and I've seen some stuff myself that I still cannot explain. And I've got some pictures of things that just there's no explanation for them.
I'm telling you.
All three of my adult kids at one point when they were young adults, they worked at Scarlett O'Hara's, and they all had stories, especially if they worked upstairs. And my one son worked as a bartender up there for a while, and like glasses flying off the rack for no reason. I mean, yes. And of course, all the stories about Harry's, but, and then where the Floridian is now, that place
Spanish
is
Street
really haunted. When I used to work for a ghost tour company, Ghost Tours of St. Augustine, Sandy Craig and Kimber, when they used to own that, they were having a terrible time with things happening there, like all the time. So they wanted us to come and well, we're not Ghostbusters. We're not. But we did bring a woman in that was able to see and figure out who was actually haunting it. It was actually, one of them was a little boy that would, if the kids that of the people that worked there were there, their kids would be talking to somebody and who are you talking to? Well, that little boy that's sitting in the chair there. There wouldn't be a little boy
sitting there.
But that was remarkable. So yes, so the ghost tours, the stories that you get from the people that have actually experienced them.
The people that work at the lighthouse have some of the best.
The lighthouse,
the lighthouse
for sure.
With the three girls, and two of them. I guess it was. I thought it was. I read about it just a couple of days ago, and I always thought it was the family that lived there, but it was a family of the people that were doing the construction. Is who the girls actually were, and that's with the cart and everything.
They had that tragic accident where the cart went into the water.
Yeah,
I remember that.
So that we're talking 1872 when they when they rebuilt the lighthouse in its current location, and it happened in 1873, like the next year while it was still under construction. But I always thought it was the lighthouse keepers' kids.
Right.
And what I read today, it was actually the superintendent of the construction's kids. That it happened. So that actually makes more sense why they were playing with the construction equipment and stuff like that, and how it happened. But another story I had completely wrong, and I said I've told the story as it was the lighthouse keeper's kids, and what I read today, I don't think I was right. For many years, I don't think I was right. So, all right. One of the things, obviously, the Pirate Museum's been so instrumental in our Bollock show since we started 3 years ago. You've been doing it for 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
So we've been doing it for 3 years. When I called you, said, sure, I'll help you out. And thank you so much for that. But we talk a lot about the Pirate Museum and what's in there. But can you tell us how the Pirate Museum came to be in St. Augustine?
Okay, that's a good story.
We brushed over it,
right?
But I want to hear how close we were to brush our brushing.
It was originally in Key West. It opened there in 2010. So And Pat Croce, who owns it, he's from Philadelphia. He used to own the Philadelphia 76ers, for people that don't know. And then he has also had he had like a TV show, self-help TV show, and he's been judges on like those like invention shows and all of that. I think he was with Sarah Blakely, who invented Spanx. They were both on a show together to look at people's inventions. I can't think of the name of the show off the top
Like
of my head.
Shark Tank or something like that?
Shark Tank or something like that, yeah. So he had bars in Key West. He had the Rum Barrel, and at the time he opened Rum Barrel with the Pirate Museum, which was a pirate themed bar, and then Island Dogs across the street from there, and then branched out and also has a few other restaurants down there now. But back then he just had the Rum Barrel, Island Dogs, and the Pirate Museum. And I think Island Dogs opened up right before the Pirate Museum moved up here. So the issue with the Pirate Museum being in Key West is a water sports drinking kind of a town. And it's not really a family museum kind of a town or a field trip destination kind of town. And he really wanted to expose the collection and the educational aspect of it to more people. But he didn't really have a plan. But Dana St. Clair, who used to be with Historic Tours of America, he had him come up here leading up to the 450th, where they were doing those speaking things at Flagler College on different historic subjects. Because they were friends and they knew each other, he had Pat come up and do a program on history of pirates. So Pat just happened to be here for one night, and he did that, and he was driving around town, and he saw the for sale sign in front of where the Pirate Museum is now that Lynn and Fred Harris used to own, his Teepee Town and the Indian store. And he saw that it was for sale.
It was a
Christmas shop in the Teepee Town.
Yeah.
And they were kind of connected right there. But it had been closed for at that point for 2 years. For sale sign out there, weeds growing up and everything. And he's like, Sir Francis Drake is his very favorite pirate. And he knew that Sir Francis Drake sailed right there across the street from where that building was, where the fort is. So that was like an aha moment for him. He's like, this is the spot for my museum. So Dana got Fred Harris on the phone, made him a cash offer that night, and he bought it that night. So you're right. It could have gone either way. If he hadn't seen it or known about it, it would still be in Key West, and I don't even know what would be there now, and I would still be working for Old Town Trolleys, which is not a bad thing. I love my job there.
Not a bad thing at all. And a matter of fact, I think it was Ed who introduced me to Pat early on. I remember us sitting down and having dinner together at the Casa Monica before he had opened it. He had purchased it, and I'm friends with Fred and Lynn, so I was happy for them.
Yeah, me too.
I was happy for them. But I was like, wow, what a cool dude. He's still a cool dude. Not like he's not with us anymore, but, I'm a big sports fan. He started in physical therapy. He's got a storybook career, and the fact that he chose St. Augustine was like, oh man, we are living in a really cool place. He kind of gave us a stamp of coolness, in my opinion. But when he first told me the idea, I was like, oh, I don't know how this is going to work. It's not that big of a place, but you guys have maximized that space.
Oh, you better believe it.
I cannot even believe.
It's a compact little museum with a lot of stuff going on in there.
Yeah. When you designed it, I was just like, oh, wow, okay. And then when I first went there, I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so much bigger. I've been in the TV shop and the Christmas shop for so many times. I was like, how did they do this? So who was the person who created that shifting and going back and forth? And there's one room I get locked in, the little computer thing on each one.
Oh yeah,
and I can sit there.
That's Rogue's Tavern.
Yeah,
and in the background you can hear all the ambient noises of the dishes clattering and the people singing shanties and all the galleries. Like you can hear the ambient sounds of what it would have been like in that area, like Port Royal. You can hear the horses clomping down the street. there on the ship, you hear the battle on the ship. But Tom McDonald was the general contractor, but we used a lot of local artist designers. Steve Marazzo, that used to own Simple Gestures, and he had a whole crew. Kathy, she's since passed away, but she was on his team of artists. I mean, they took the original concept from Key West. We took a lot of the fabric of the museum and pieces and put it all back together, and then these local artists added so much more depth to the fabric of the museum on top of that. And then you add the lighting and the ambient sounds and everything, and then you've got this great immersive experience. But it was a team of people. It was, lighting technicians from New York, and Tom McDonald locally here, and his construction crew, and these artists that put it all together. But originally, there was a museum design company from Canada that put it together when it was in Key West.
And is it very similar to what was in Key West? Or
it's similar, but so much better, because like Pat says, when you get to do it over again, you get to do all those things that you wish you had done the first time.
You know what you forgot.
Yeah, like we have the whole Hollywood Pirates exhibit that we didn't have before, with all those iconic things that he had been collecting. Now, back up before Key West, he just started collecting all these pirate things, like going on over 40 years now. And he just kept all these things in his house in Villanova, and he had a big house in Villanova. So he had his whole pirate collection there, and he is also a real magic aficionado, and he's actually a really amazing magician too. But he has collections of all things from all the iconic magicians, and David Blaine and Houdini.
Yeah, I was going to say. So I think in our conversation, he was a big Houdini guy.
Yeah.
In our conversation that we were talking about, and he has
definitely
quite the Houdini collection also.
And so finally, I think his wife's like, we need to just get rid of it. You need to put this stuff somewhere. I was like, well, let me just open a museum. And they loved Key West, and they wanted to open a restaurant and a bar down there. So let's do it in Key West. But it's been quite it was all in his house. He just collected all this stuff just to have it as a private collection. And almost 90% of everything that we have in there is owned by him, that he was able, through private collectors. He had one guy that would find him books, one person that would find him documents, one that would do weapons, and then you had the shipwreck treasures. So he had people that knew that he was looking for these things, and they would send him to auctions or get things for him from auctions. And so it was a big team to bring all those things together, and we're tapped out. We don't have any room for anything else right now. It's not like we're a museum like the Smithsonian that has a whole room that we rotate collections out of. We have everything that we have on display.
Yeah. One of the questions I have is because I know what shocked me, but what is something when people walk out of there, what is something that's like a fan favorite with them? And I can tell you, I love getting the personal tours. When there's a personal tour, I go through there a lot without one, but like you're saying, the people that put on those tours really add that flavor to it and that added story. So what's something that really catches people like, oh wow, that was really cool?
I think the whole experience kind of surprises people, to be perfectly honest. They do love the tours, and we do the tours every weekend. Friday, all year round, we do the free guide. There's no additional price to go on the guided tour. That's just like a thing that we add on if you want to do that. The buildings or the museum's made to be self-guided, but we like putting the pirates in there in their garb, and they do like a 45-minute tour, 10:30, 12, 1:30, and 3. And then in the summer, we do it 7 days a week. But people think that the book, Rogue's Tavern, the Book of Pirates, is really good. They enjoy the below deck experience, where you put the headphones on and listen to the 3D binaural show of Blackbeard's last battle in total darkness. But the thing that I hear the most because I work on the floor a lot, is when people come out and, maybe they brought their grandkids, maybe they brought their kids, but when they come out, they're blown away. They had no idea. They're like, oh, Pirate Museum, the kids will like it. It's going to be cheesy. It's going to be hokey. then they walk out and their eyes are this big and they're like, we had no idea that this is what this was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
We're like literally one of the best museums we've ever been in, because the immersive part of it, like I'm saying, with the, with the sounds and the lighting and just the fabric of the museum, and the collection itself. And some people just walk through and they don't read the text labels and they don't realize the significance of how old and how
they look at it as just a prop instead of this was actually
like every single text label will tell you what it is and what year it's from. But a lot of people aren't into reading. We all know that people don't like to really read, but for the people that do, they'll spend like 2 or 3 hours in there going through and looking at every single thing. And other people, even if they don't do that, they're still blown away by it. They don't look at and see what everything is. They don't realize that document that they see is the original document from the 1700s, or those broadsides from a hanging, or an actual real broadside from a real pirate hanging. So it's interesting to see people's reactions of, the experience and the quality of the museum itself.
Yeah, and
I love that.
About 10 years ago, there was a whole big resurgence of pirates in the media. And by media, I mean on television and movies and things of that nature. And that must have piqued interest as well, because, you had John Malkovich playing Blackbeard and Edward Teach. And, there was Black Flag. And it was just,
Black Flag had to give you a little bit of a boost there. And,
And even now there's that anime show called Half Piece or something like that. One Piece. And it's an anime pirate cartoon that it's the longest running anime cartoon in existence in the world.
Wow.
It originates in China, but it translates over here. And our 24-year-old daughter was watching this all the time. And, I'm like, wow, that's like pirate themed, isn't it? And then all of a sudden, we're like, well, we should start carrying that merchandise in the gift shop. Come to find out, everybody, kids, young adults, they all know what One Piece is, and they come in and they buy all that merchandise now, because that's another one of those shows.
It definitely is it definitely is an absolute phenomenon. Like One Piece is like the most popular Japanese anime of all time.
Yes.
It's definitely what I'm saying. And it's actually so popular, in fact, that Netflix actually adopted it for live action.
Yeah, they have a live action show.
Oh
now.
wow!
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even realize that. And your gift shop's amazing.
Yeah,
because it's not. A lot of gift shops you go into and you're like, oh my gosh, it's $94 for this. It's very reasonable.
Well, yeah, because we want to cater to the school groups for one thing. That they love to spend their money when they come on their field trips. But we have some higher price things, but not a lot. But we do very well in our gift shop.
Yeah, it's also Maeve and I.
We call it the treasure shop.
She actually, if she gets something for like money for a birthday or something like that, she's like, can we go to the pirate? Because she just wants to go to the gift shop, not just to go to the museum. Right. She loves going to the museum, but she's like, I want to go to the gift shops because, you do cater to a price point that these kids can really afford, and it's really a cool experience. But sorry to interrupt, but I got to get to this point. Enough about the pirate museum and stuff like that. You have one of the coolest hobbies that I can even imagine. And Lenny, you don't have any idea what it is.
No,
I didn't talk to you about that. But you and your daughter are like
the Annie Oakleys of St. John's.
Champion level. What is it called?
It's called cowboy mounted shooting. So we ride our horses through patterns. There's 10 balloons, one of one color, one of another. We've got 2 single action Colt 45 type revolvers that we put blanks in. We're not shooting real ammo around horses and people, but they have enough gunpowder in them to pop a balloon up to about 15 feet. And you just ride around. There's like 100 and some different courses that you can compete on. We do like 4 a day, per match. So on any given day, you'll do 4 different courses, but it's so fun. So you're sitting there riding your horse as fast as you can, shooting balloons, switching guns in the middle of it, probably while you're going around a barrel at the same time, and then shooting the next 5 balloons. And it's pretty badass. So if you want to see what it looks like, just go on YouTube or Google cowboy mounted shooting, and you'll see what it is. And it's extremely exhilarating and fun, and it's so we've been doing it for over 10 years now. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to ride.
Blake,
We used to ride
Can
English.
you put that in the
yeah.
in the comments so people can check it out on YouTube after the show? Don't go now. But how did that start? You said you wrote
we just
English
happened. Yeah, we just happened to move into a farm in Hastings next to a guy that did it, and so he got us started into it.
And then you're hooked.
Oh, totally went total cowgirl. Our English saddles are sold and gone now. And
is it a different horse or is it the same?
Oh no, we had to get horses that were trained
to
for
do
that.
Handle the sounds.
Yeah. I mean, you can. We're not trainers, so it was better for us to get trained horses to do it. But my horse is amazing. He's going on 25 years old now, but he's been doing it since he was 4. So pretty much I just go out there and he knows all the patterns. He just follows the balloon. He sees the barrel. He knows to go around it. And I just sit there and shoot. He makes it look. He makes me look really good because he makes it so easy for me because he's such an amazing, fantastic horse. And I ride him in all the local parades here too. So if I'm not shooting, I'm waving to the crowds in St. Augustine at the parades.
I saw you on him at the Easter parade.
Yeah.
What type of horse is he?
He's a quarter horse.
Just a quarter horse.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
They're a good breed.
I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking cowboys. I'm thinking Appaloosa and.
Well, Appaloosa. Yeah. I mean, there's people use all breeds, but mostly I would say 90% of people that do mounted shooting use a quarter horse because they've just got that handiness to them to do those turns and to do the maneuvers that you need to ride a pattern.
See,
like
when I
that.
think of quarter horse and I think of that, I'm thinking, okay, on the cavalry. I was always on the Native American side, so that's where I was like, I was.
You're sitting on a blanket, not a saddle.
I was a big fan of Tonto over the Lone Ranger.
But quarter horses can also be paints,
Yeah.
So it's kind of a color.
Okay.
I mean, it's a breed and a color. It's kind of complicated, but that'll be another whole hour show if we're going to talk about horse breeds.
Okay. What's your horse's name?
Stormy the Magnificent, I like to call him.
All right. What's your daughter's horse's name?
He's Pepperjack. We call him PJ.
Okay. Very cool.
She likes to name her horses after cheese. She had one named Queso, and so she decided to stick with the theme and name this one Pepperjack. And
well, if I have a need for a posse, you're my first call.
You got it. We're in.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I guess she shouldn't name one Swiss, or he'll have too many holes in the entire thing. Just avoid that one. Yeah. But other things that we haven't gotten to. You have something coming up. You have an event coming up.
Yeah, we've got
that we want to talk about at was it called Oak Fest?
Oak Fest is what we do at the Colonial Oak every 4th of July, and this is the 9th year that we've done Oak Fest over the 4th of July weekend. So we have free live music July 3rd through July 6th. We've got Cam Wheaton, Josh Tennessee, Worthy Ensemble, Marshall Horn, Truephonic, Versatile, and Sean Ryan and Friends throughout those weeks. And free music, amazing food, full bar. If anybody's ever been to the Colonial Oak knows it's just a great, cool experience. And it's totally under the Colonial Oak. It's shady, so you're not going to get hot. And we're we start early, we end early, so we're not a late night venue. We start the music at 7 and we typically end between 10. Sometimes we'll go to 11. Like on the 4th of July, they allow us to stay open and play after the fireworks are finished for people that are waiting for the traffic to die down and give them something to do.
It probably helps breaking up that.
So they kind of, let us during that night stay open a little bit later just to keep everybody off the streets and entertained until all the traffic's gone. And then coming up in October this year, for the first time ever, we're partnering with Sweetwater Ale Company. They're out of Atlanta, and they have their Sweetwater 420 beer that they have, and they do a festival called 420 Festival up in Atlanta every year. Well, we're going to do a halfway to 420 Music Fest October 17th through 19th because that's halfway till August or to April. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that will be a ticketed event. So it won't be free, but it's going to be a really cool festival. We're going to be all about sustainability, green initiatives, healthfulness, mindfulness, all the things that are healthy for our environment, for ourselves, for our bodies, and keeping the earth and our bodies the way we want them to be. So there'll be, let me just read you a little bit what we have here, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. So the first annual Halfway to 420 Music Fest, transforming the Colonial Oak Music Park and the Colonial Quarter into an immersive celebration of psychedelic music, 420 culture, and performance art. The 3-day festival will feature a diverse lineup, including Andy Frasco and the UN. Cool. This is like the festival that you went to at Merriweather.
It's a jam band festival.
It's a jam band festival.
Absolutely.
Cool. Steel and Peaches, One Good Ring, and Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Rainbow Laser Burlesque and Freak Show.
Oh,
so
boy.
there'll be a little burlesque and freak show going on too, and many more. Guests will experience atmospheric burlesque and freak show performances, art installations, Delta 9 friendly activations, all beneath the park's legendary oak tree. So that's going to be super exciting. They'll have lots of vendors, special 420 beer pricing, laser light shows after dark, donation-based puppy yoga, benefiting Ayla's Acres No-Kill Rescue. So bring a new toy, dog treats, pet food, weed pads, pet supplies, and support. We always support Ayla's Acres. That's one of our local charities that we have a great support partnership with. And the tickets are actually on sale now. So I'll give
say it out.
Blake,
say it out, and he'll type it in, and that way it'll be in
it's www.thecolonialoakmusicpark.com/halfway-2-420 /.
You got all that, Blake?
Can you read out the past like Colonial Music, the Colonial Music, the Colonial Oak Music Park.com / again?
halfway-2-420 / with more surprises to be revealed soon.
Nice.
So yeah, we're excited about that, and
so
when we get closer, we'll have you come back in for that one
sounds
too,
good.
for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll have maybe some of the organizer maybe have come with me and go a little bit more into depth. Maybe Kevin talk about the bands a little bit.
We have room.
I see.
We have room.
So tell me a little bit about the oak tree, the Colonial Oak itself.
We don't know exactly how old it is. Because in order to figure out how old it is, we would have to cut it down and count the rings. But live oaks grow pretty quickly, so it's not like 500 years old, but we think it's around 300 years old. It's protected by the Pirate Museum building being there. Like we lost in Hurricane Matthew, when we lost almost all the trees that were in the Colonial Oak where the ship is. Mm-hmm. That had a ton of trees, and we lost all of them during that storm. But the oak just kind of got shaved off the top, and it's standing strong and mighty. And we do have Eddie the tree medic come in, take care of it all the time. In fact, he's coming in a couple weeks to trim her up and take good care of her. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful place to sit there. I mean, we open the doors to the Colonial Oak Music Park. Whether there's music going on there, people can come in off of St. George Street. They don't have to eat at our restaurants. They can bring their ice cream in. They can bring whatever they want to bring in. They can sit in there and enjoy the music park during the day, just to get off of the beaten path in the shade. Let the kids run around. We let kids run up and play on the stage if they want to, do little performances, whatever. So we like having that area open. And then we've got that free little museum that we have there at the Gallegos house right there as you're coming off of St. George, you're coming into the Oak, and it shows all the history of St. George Street from the past through present. Mm-hmm. So you can see what St. George Street looked like back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, back when in the 60s when it was just a regular street with Western Auto and shoe stores and cars and street lights and telephone wires and everything, to what it looks like now. So it's a really cool free exhibit that people can come in and look at. And in the back room shows what it would have looked like back in the 1740s when the Gallegos family actually lived in where that building is now. It's not the original building.
First Spanish period, but not the original building.
Not the first Spanish period, but 1740s during the time that when they did the restoration of St. George Street, they tried to keep everything in that time period.
Okay.
First time period would have been 1600s. But yeah, it was built. It was during the 60s and 70s when they did all the historic preservation movement and turned all the buildings back into historic interpreted buildings, took the traffic off of St. George Street and turned it into a living history area. So that building was built exactly the way it would have been built in the 1740s, the same construction methods, the same materials, but it's not an original building. It just is built exactly like it would have been built. So it's pretty cool.
All right. And I got to ask this question. Rebecca reminded me. You have a camp coming up.
We do have a camp coming up.
You have a camp coming up. So tell us about that camp.
We do a colonial kids camp. It's the second week in July, and we still have some spots. So if people want to go onto the Colonial Quarter website, www.colonialquarter.com, they can see the information about the summer camp and sign up on there. And we definitely still have spots. We take them. We don't just keep them at the Colonial Quarter in the Pirate Museum. We'll take them to the Spanish Military Hospital. We'll take them to the fort. We'll take them down to the treasure chest to do candle dipping and the activities that they have down there. And then we'll do all kinds of fun and games and arts and crafts and things like that. So this will be our third summer. The kids love it. It's fun. We've got the best counselors that run it for them, and they make it super fun. And it's just really fun to watch these kids interact and have as much fun as they do during that week. And it runs from 9 to 1, so it's not a full day camp. But
I have to ask if Maeve's already signed up, because I know we were planning on doing it. I just got to make sure if we need to do that tomorrow. You've got time. You've got time. But Rebecca saw it. She's like, "Oh my gosh, we got to do it." I was like, "Yeah, we're definitely got to do that for Maeve, because she absolutely loves that area." One of the other things, and the restaurants you have the Bull and Crown and the St. Augustine Seafood Company, and then in between there you have the Taberna Bar. Now the Taberna Bar, when I first moved here to St. Augustine, was just one little room with like 8 people in it, no power. You had everything was by candle, and the beer was hot, and it was the best time you could possibly have. It still has a lot of that same character. But how do you get across to the staff that, this is a part of the experience with those three very different experiences?
Well, we used to have a separate menu in the Taberna before COVID, but then once COVID hit, to run 3 separate kitchens was very difficult, and then. So we decided to just keep the Taberna del Caballo open as just the Taberna del Caballo, and try and keep that same vibe that used to be when it was the Taberna de Gallo, which was the Tavern of the Rooster. But we changed the name to the Tavern of the Horse, because those 2 buildings that make up the Taberna building there, we connected them. We opened up and connected them. They actually they're reproductions of homes that belong to cavalry soldiers. Oh, okay. So our kitchen there is built like a stable. Gotcha. So that's where our kitchen is, and that's not open for people. It never has been open for people. It's always been when it was a Spanish Quarter, it was like storage for their gift shop. But now it's our kitchen. But we've actually found horseshoes in back there. Oh, like awesome. dug up old horseshoes. So, so the bar, that's just the bar. But the menu for the St. Augustine Seafood full service is in that same building, in the seating area that's outside in the covered area, and then in the dining room as well. But we're also doing roasted oysters there now. It's a brand new thing, so you can go in there and order, like oysters Rockefeller, or, we have like 6 different recipes that we're doing the baked oysters, the roasted oysters for. So we're excited about that. They always
were so kind to me, because I like, you had the buffalo shrimp already. And you had the fried oysters, and I was like, "Can you guys just make me the buffalo fried oysters?"
Of course.
And they would always just knock it out of the park for me. I don't think it's on the menu. I don't know if it is now.
Yeah, we can still do that.
Yeah, and they always were so nice about it, and I'm that pain in the ass guy who orders off the menu. So
it's easy enough to accommodate, though.
Yeah, with the chef, I was like,
you have a bowl, you have the buffalo sauce, you have the fried oysters.
throw them together.
Marriage.
Yeah,
You can do it.
That's
You
throw
can
them
do
together,
Really?
and they do a great job with it. But and the
Mhm.
food there is excellent.
It is very
Um,
good. Because we get fresh delivered shrimp and fish every day, so it's all local Mayport shrimp, and then whatever fish is available. We usually always have mahi.
Mhm.
Sometimes we'll have snapper, flounder. So, but whatever people are catching locally, that's what we're going to have.
Yeah, it's a true catch of the day.
It
It's-
is
Mhm.
catch
yeah.
of the day.
So him and I had this conversation one night. We were doing bollocks about when someone. I immediately take and put a restaurant on the list if they put tilapia as their catch of the day.
Yeah.
So, I'm
Right.
like, no, you're off the list.
Right. Came out of a fish tank. Exactly.
Well, and so much shrimp is imported, farm raised,
Hmm.
not even American.
Yeah. Thailand and
Shrimp,
Indonesia
yeah.
primarily. Yeah.
That's a lot of shrimp that but we get and they're big. We get the big ones.
Hmm.
So
That's
you
one
can
of the-
get it fried, you can get it grilled, you can get it blackened, or we also do steamed shrimp now too.
That's one of the joys of living in St. Augustine is the Mayport shrimp.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mhm.
You know.
Okay, Bull and Crown. That's a great
It's a
people
cool little
watching
place, isn't
place.
it? Yeah.
Mhm.
like
With
you,
that,
you sit there and just watch St.
Yeah.
George Street, and it's always a unique experience there.
I'll go down there and sit there out on the deck, even when it's hot, because it does have the umbrellas, and a lot of people are like, too hot to sit there, too hot to sit there. But I'll sit there in the shade and start eating my lunch, and then all of a sudden people walk up and they're like, oh, she's eating here and she's
Right.
not dying.
Yeah,
And so other people will come and sit there too. But, because it's hot right now and people just want to be inside, especially people that aren't from here.
People are weak.
But
yeah.
we have a great menu there too. We have some.
It didn't even get to 90 today.
No,
there was a
and it was
breeze.
breezy. It was
breeze.
beautiful.
Yeah, it was a nice cool breeze. For
I don't
20
mind the
minutes this
heat.
morning. Right.
Is there anything? I mean, you have the events and stuff like that. Is there anything we need to look forward to with the Colonial Experience or Colonial Oak, or because you guys do such an amazing job?
We have some improvements that we have coming up, but they're nothing like, it's like putting bathrooms in behind the Bull and Crown. Hopefully that will happen within the next year, and just doing some upgrades to our kitchens. Nothing that people will be able to see, but there might be a surprise in the museum coming up within the next year, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But if it all works out, it's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there's going to be any new artifacts coming to the museum.
I'm talking about the Colonial Experience in that museum, the outdoor museum.
Right.
The outdoor.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that.
big.
Oh, okay.
So-
I'm wondering the Pirate Museum.
Oh, we're out of room for artifacts right now.
Mhm.
We really are. Everything is in there. So if something really, really cool comes along,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that Pat might be interested in adding something if it's not super big, but we're you don't want to put too much in there. People, there's just not that much more room for things like that. So
And Pat has kind of retired a little bit.
he is
hasn't
retired, but
And
his son Mike and son-in-law Jeff, Mike Kirchy and Jeff Sorg, they run everything. They run everything in St. Augustine. They run the bars in Key West, because now we've got Half Shell Raw Bar, the iconic Green Parrot bar that's in Key West. That's a great music venue that, if people that are really into music know what the Green Parrot is. And then, so we've got those two down there.
I don't know if I ever told you the story, but Mike and I were having lunch at the St. Augustine Seafood Company, and we're sitting at the bar, and they had these bulbs. They were kind of cool looking, but Mike's like 6'2", I'm 5'7", and I couldn't see the bartender, and I was like, I really hate these bulbs.
We didn't like them either.
And Mike goes, "Oh, sorry. I think it was him that actually found them and put them in there." And I felt horrible about it because I didn't realize it was his decision to put them in there.
Actually, I think it was Jeff's.
Was it Jeff's? Okay.
Jeff's a
tall too?
visual guy. He's even taller than
Yeah.
Mike.
See, and that's why I was saying, I was like, because you're tall, you guys probably didn't even see this.
I know.
And I think it might have been Jeff, but I was like, oops, I just really stuck my
Wow.
foot in my mouth, which is not uncommon for me.
We said it too, and finally they took them out.
I know.
Because we did not like them either, because it's like, Yeah, they were big.
Yeah, I mean, like to
it
get
looks so
to
much
get a
better.
drink, I'd have to go like this, like, hey, can I? And then you go back behind the globe,
Oh.
and
They were lights. They were like round lights, and there were like 3 or 4 of them along the bar. And that's such a great bar.
it is a
Why
cool
would you
bar.
want to put something like that on that bar? But
It is such a cool
I
bar.
digress in case they hear.
Right.
You can blame me for it because I really stuck my foot in my mouth that day.
But then they, Mike and Jeff, without Pat's help or anything, they both graduated from Penn State. They purchased about, I guess it's been about, 4 or 5 years ago, Hotel State College, which is, it's been around since the late 1800s, I believe.
Mhm.
And it's like almost takes up a whole city block. It's like 3 sides, and it's got 5 different venues in there. It's got like a really nice Allen Street Grill restaurant. It's got a more casual the corner room restaurant. Pickles is a bar. I wish I could remember them. There's a country bar that they have there. There's a gay bar that they have there, and then they have a nightclub.
Mhm.
And then upstairs there's like a boutique hotel.
Mhm.
So the boys, I call them the boys because they're young enough to be my children.
Yeah.
They took over that whole project. They put lots and lots and lots of money in it. They upgraded everything, and now that's doing really, really well. And they get to enjoy that. Both them and their wives all went to college there.
That's
And
cool.
now Jeff's daughter is going there. She's a freshman there this year. Or she just finished her freshman year. So that's, to me, that's like a really cool project that the boys took on their own, and they became very successful with it. In fact, in my office, I have a picture of them on the front page of the Penn State Alumni Magazine with their 2 pictures on the front, and then the whole story of the evolution of what they've done with Hotel State College.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
it's just beautiful up there. If you've ever been to central-ish Western Pennsylvania.
How often do those guys still come into town? I mean,
No, once every month or so.
okay.
They leave me alone.
They leave you alone.
Right.
Well, please
So
tell
you
them
got to figure it out.
Please tell them I said hello, and thank you so much for coming in. We're going to have you back in for
That'll be great. I would
the-
love to talk
the-
about that a little bit more.
the Oak Fest. and
Halfway to 420.
There you go.
So, and we'll be signing up Maeve tonight
Okay.
because that hasn't happened yet. So we're going to make sure we have that happen.
Good.
Just absolutely a lot of fun comments out there. Thank you again. You know, and we know not to mess with you, Annie Oakley.
Right.
So, anything we've left off that we should talk about that we haven't talked about at Colonial? Anything you can think of?
I don't think so.
Then we did good.
I think we
Right.
did good.
We did
Filled
good.
up all that time. That was really fun.
Yes. So
I enjoyed it.
yeah,
Good.
and if you guys would please share the show. Blake has a lot of links in there for you to check out some things and the festivals and all that fun stuff. This is Bollocks this evening. We will not be here tomorrow. We're celebrating Juneteenth. We won't have the morning show, and we won't have Bollocks tomorrow.
I guess we're out.
Sorry,
Oh, we're back.
Did you end the show, or you didn't end the show?
I almost did.
Oh, okay. Now we get to wave, Lenny.
There you go.
Bye.
See you on Monday.
We're off tomorrow. Bye.